Losing weight is easy, actually. I know. That probably sounds like total clickbait, right? But what if I told you there's a framework that, well, it actually makes that statement kind of true? We're about to dive into a whole new way of thinking about weight loss. So, what is the real secret to losing weight? It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Everyone asks it, and you get a million different answers. Is there some magic food? A secret workout routine? Hmm. Well, the answer we're going to explore today, it's probably not what you're expecting. Okay, so for most of our lives, we've been sold this idea, right? This perfectly balanced chart. Weight loss is 50% diet, 50% exercise. It makes sense. It seems so simple. But, and this is a big but, what if that common belief is the very thing that's making it so hard for so many people? All right, now take a look at this. This completely flips the script. Diet and exercise, together, they're only 25% of the puzzle. Another 25%, that's sleep. And that huge, massive 50% chunk right there, that's just doing what you said you were going to do. Execution. That, my friends, is the real game changer here. So, okay, if doing the thing is literally half the battle, how do you make sure you actually win it? Well, it all starts way before you even think about opening the fridge. We're talking about the setup. It's all about building a system for yourself that's almost foolproof. And here's the blueprint for that system. First, you've got that initial spark, that I'm gonna do it feeling. But we all know that fades. So you have to anchor it fast with a real measurable goal. Something like, I'm losing 5 pounds by July 1st. Then you make a realistic plan. And finally, you get to what might be the most crucial step of them all. You have to engineer your environment. This is such a key point. It's all about making it easy to eat healthy and hard to eat junk. See, success isn't about having superhuman willpower. Nope. It's about making the right choice, the easiest choice. That means doing the prep work ahead of time. Boiling the eggs, washing the strawberries, having it all ready to go. And the junk food? You gotta make it hard to get to. Put it out of sight, or even better, just don't have it in the house in the first place. I love this quote. It just cuts right to the heart of it. If you keep buying peanut butter and grape jelly, you don't actually intend to stick to your diet. It's so blunt, but so true. If your kitchen is still set up for your old way of life, you're basically planning to fail without even realizing it. Your environment absolutely has to match your goals. Okay, so your environment is all set up. You're ready for success. Now it's time to actually pick your strategy for the food itself. And what's cool is there are two very different paths you can take here. So which path is yours? Well, on one hand, you've got path one, the numbers game. This is your classic meticulous calorie counting with apps and a food scale. On the other hand, you have path two, the no count method. This one's less about numbers and more about swapping processed stuff for whole foods. So, path one, the pro is that in theory, you just can't go wrong. It's pure math, right? Calories in versus calories out. If you track it all perfectly, it should work. But the con, and it's a big one, is that it takes constant effort. You're tracking, you're estimating, you're weighing everything. It can be a real grind. And here's the kicker with path one. We humans are just terrible at estimating calories. As the source says, if you think it's 300 calories, it's probably 500. We just consistently underestimate, and that can totally derail everything without you even knowing it's happening. So let's talk about path two, the no count method. The whole idea here is pretty simple. Nutritious whole foods, they're just naturally more filling. They're packed with fiber and good stuff that signals to your brain, hey, we're full. So you just naturally end up eating fewer calories without even having to count them. And this is the perfect example, a tale of 200 calories. You could have a handful of Oreos, and you know you're gonna want another handful in 10 minutes. Or you could have this big, giant bowl of strawberries. Same calories, but one leaves you satisfied and the other leaves you hungry. That's why this no-count thing can feel so much less restrictive. All right, you've got your environment dialed in, you've picked your food strategy. Now let's talk about the boosters, the things that are gonna supercharge your progress. And that's exercise and sleep. So why does exercise help so much? Well, sure, it burns extra calories, but it also revs up your metabolism and helps you build muscle. And more muscle means you're burning more fat even when you're just sitting around. But there's a psychological thing too. Once you've spent 30 minutes on a treadmill to burn off a cookie, you start to learn the real cost of junk food. It makes you think twice. And the tips here are super simple and doable. Lift some weights. Get your 10,000 steps in every day. And for cardio, just do something you don't hate, something you find engaging, because if you like it, you're way more likely to actually do it. Now for the real unsung hero of all this, sleep. Seriously, the power of sleep is huge because it's what regulates the hormones that basically determine everything in fat loss. When you don't get enough sleep, the hormones that control hunger and cravings go completely haywire. It makes everything a million times harder. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. We're moving from just being on a diet to something much bigger, changing your identity. This is the ultimate goal, really. You want to know the real cheat code to motivation? It's right here. It's doing something for so long that it just becomes a habit. It's not about a magic pill, it's about consistency. Doing that thing over and over and over again until you don't even have to think about it anymore. Because once those actions become automatic, guess what you don't need anymore? Willpower. Your brain just does it on its own. You're not fighting yourself anymore. That's when the whole thing gets so much easier. It's like you're running on autopilot. So I want to leave you with this question. What happens when it's no longer a choice you have to make every single day, but it just becomes your identity? When you're not a person on a diet anymore, but you're just a healthy person? When that shift happens, that's when losing weight actually does become easy.